Alien Infiltrator is an upcoming Alien novel set to further expand the ever-growing Alien canon, as well as act as a prequel novel to the upcoming and untitled Cold Iron Studios Alien Online MMO. So today I plan to discuss every piece of information we have so far about this prequel novel and what importance this information could have to the Cold Iron Alien game. So currently, there are two main sources of information regarding Alien Infiltrator. The first came when the publisher Titan Books released their publisher's summary, essentially the plot synopsis for the book, and the second being that of an interview between Mother 9000 and the leader of the Yutani podcast, and friend of the channel, and author of Infiltrator himself. I want to explore both sources and try and gather a rough idea of what's in store for us for Alien Infiltrator, starting with our first source, the plot synopsis and publisher's summary. This reads, Alien Infiltrator is the prequel novel to the huge Alien video game from Cold Iron Studios. As a Weyland-Yutani scientist arrives at Polaris Station and finds the researchers there courting disaster of a xenomorph kind, Dr. Timothy Hohenecker arrives on Polaris Station, a Weyland-Yutani facility. Lured there by the promise of alien artifacts. Instead, he finds a warped bureaucracy of staff and misfits testing the effect of xenomorph biomaterials on living creatures. Unbeknownst to the personnel, however, there is an infiltrator among them who could spell disaster. Also on staff is Victor Rawlings, a former Marine who gathers together other veterans to prepare for the worst. As the personnel receive a delivery of alien eggs, experiments spin out of control, and only the former colonial Marines stand between the humans and certain death. Now let's consider the statements made by the author, in order to add some more layers to this synopsis. I listened to the interview in its entirety between Mother and the author and made sure not to leave out any mention of the novel, no matter how big or small the tidbit of information. Mother's Alien Day 2020 interview with Weston Oakes included the following information. The main protagonist is said to be a cowardly scientist who must overcome his shortcomings in order to survive. New types of xenomorph creatures will be created by the scientists, however some might come about in other ways. The engineer's accelerant is said to feature. The weaponizing the xenomorph trait or trope is said to be a goal of these scientists, obviously. The story is somewhat inspired by Alien's Bug Hunt in certain aspects. Bug Hunt was a collection of short stories set in the Alien universe, which is now non-canon. However, it looks like Weston, who actually worked on some of these short stories in the past, is aiming to bring at least some aspects of those stories into canon through his novel. The story is aiming to not include a current shiny batch of colonial Marines, but instead the author has worked in retired colonial veterans, who are still skilled but may not be as combat ready as they used to be, with this tattered group assisting the characters from time to time against the aliens. Well, from these descriptions, we already have a decent amount to work with, so let's try and build this framework. Polaris Station is owned by the infamous Weyland-Yutani, and where this takes place in the timeline, I can only guess. I would say maybe around the 2130s to 50s or 60s, maybe. However, it is possible that it is happening sometime around the events of the RPG, which is in the 2180s. It's too hard to say at this point. The reason I mostly say after 2130s though is the presence of the colonial Marines, and notably retired ones, that would indicate that this would take place a substantial time after the colonial Marines formation back in the 2100s. Aboard the station is a group of Weyland-Yutani scientists, these retired colonial Marines, and who knows what else. We at least know what they are doing on the station though. The scientists aboard are studying the xenomorphs, presumably splicing and testing xenomorph materials, including that of the engineer's accelerant on living creatures. Where they obtain these materials is currently unknown, but I hope we actually get the answer somewhere, either in the book or the game. What would result from this may be very interesting to see indeed. My guess is strange mutated animals alongside new variants of the Xenomorph said to feature in the novel. Why are retired Colonial Marines specifically on this station though? Well, it's likely that they themselves want to keep an eye on Weyland-Yutani's experiments. However, it could go deeper. The United Americas at this time in galactic history need to be cautious. They have a growing line of enemies, so it's possible that they feel a contingent of Colonial Marines need to be aboard Polar Station in order to maintain stability and have their own eyes on the situation. Weyland-Yutani, being what they are, were likely able to object to the idea to a certain point, and so somehow negotiated to have a less aggressive occupation of their station. Instead, having a small band of Colonial veterans instead. Personnel Weyland-Yutani knows that they can more easily deal with and push around. We will see the eventual arrival of our presumed main protagonist, Dr. Timothy Hoeniger, who is curious and excited at the prospects of studying alien artifacts on this station. Though supposedly he is a bit of a coward and likely not equipped for what Weyland-Yutani probably has in mind for their study of alien artifacts, as wild corporate bureaucrats and misfit scientists populate this station. However, I'm hoping that we will get to explore some of the aspects of the engineer's history and lore through whatever means Weyland-Yutani procured the accelerant. Now we get to the more ambitious part of this novel, the Infiltrator. It is said that there is an infiltrator of sorts in the midst of the others, and that this infiltrator has ill intent. The question is though, what is this infiltrator's motives? Do they simply wish to steal materials and information from Weyland-Yutani? If so, is it a rival company or government? Perhaps they are idealists, a terrorist or a cultist, hell-bent on ensuring the destruction of the Xenomorphs at all cost. Or maybe they're there to aid the Xenomorph in its conquest across the Middle Heavens region of space. We simply have too little to go off right now, and so many possibilities to choose from. Things are likely chaotic, as they are when playing with the accelerant and the Xenomorph. The situation though will only get worse when a shipment of Xenomorph eggs arrive at the station. It's likely that these are the events that tip the scale to the creature's side, whether the infiltrator or simply poor handling of these shipment of eggs causes this station to run amok. The creatures soon infest the station, and with that, the retired Colonial Marines headed by Victor Rawlings are forced back into action. In the meantime though, it's likely our terrified protagonist is going to find it very difficult and very hard to deal with this situation he now finds himself in. To survive though, he will have to overcome his shortcomings, so that he can work effectively with the people around him in order to beat the Xenomorphs present on this station. But that's essentially it for now. Alien Infiltrator is shaping up to be a big event for me, and I would guess many other Alien fans. And as for what Alien's bug hunts materials will be included, it's really a mystery at this point, as there is so much inside those short stories to possibly pull from. However, this novel seems to be doing some very exciting world building, and hopefully it will be exploring the dark history of the Alien universe, whilst adding a wonderful new chapter to it. And you have to keep in mind, this is all a prequel to the Alien MMO set for release sometime in hopefully the near future, which is just very exciting to me. I can't even explain how on edge I am every time I learn something new about these two projects. But for now, it looks like we're just going to have to be patient and wait until the 28th of July this year for the official release of the novel worldwide, so that we can all experience it together. Before I go, I wanted to let you know about the ACHERON Colonial Marketplace, the one-stop shop for all Project ACHERON merch. Here you can pick up shirts, hoodies, mugs, phone cases and more. So if you want to support the channel and look good doing it, pick up some ACHERON merch. But what other videos would you like to see? If you have any ideas or have any questions, please leave them in the comments or contact me through Twitter or on the Project ACHERON Discord. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and share this video. And if you want to really help see this channel thrive and grow, as well as gain a bunch of awesome rewards for yourself, consider becoming a patron. such as Christopher Dasinger and Ambrosia, leaders of the Project ACHERON Hive. I hope to see you all here again very soon, but until then, this is Project ACHERON signing off.